In the quiet countryside town of Ravenshade, intelligence was rare, but cruelty was common. Inside this peaceful-looking place stood an elite school, Ravenshade Academy, known for its academic prestige and its hidden arrogance. Among its hundreds of wealthy students, one boy stood out for a very different reason: Ethan Cole, the 12-year-old genius who came from nothing. Ethan lived with his widowed mother in a small two-room apartment above the public library. His mother, Claire Cole, worked as the town's librarian during the day and typed research papers for professors at night. Every night, she whispered to Ethan, "Someday your mind will change your world." Ethan believed her. At school, however, that belief was tested every single day. The children of businessmen, politicians, and lawyers treated Ethan like an outsider. He wore second-hand clothes, carried a worn-out backpack, and didn't have the latest gadgets. But his mind, sharp, creative, and fearless, made him a target. The ringleader of his torment was Lucas Grant, son of Richard Grant, the school's powerful director. Lucas was tall, charming, and cruel. His father's money made him untouchable, and his arrogance made him dangerous. He bullied not out of boredom, but out of fear. Fear of being outshined by someone he could never match. Ethan's quietness only fueled their attacks. They mocked him for being poor, for being too smart, and for his mother's simple job. They erased his science notes, hid his project materials, and once poured ink all over his invention, a small robotic arm that could mimic human gestures. Lucas had crushed it with his shoe, laughing. That night, Ethan sat at his desk, the shattered pieces of his robot scattered before him. His mother peeked into his room, but he only said, "I'm fine, Mom." When she left, he whispered to himself, "They think they broke me, but they just helped me start something bigger." From that moment, Ethan began his plan, not for violence, not for anger, but for something much smarter: revenge through intelligence. Weeks later, the school announced its grand event, the Ravenshade Innovation Expo, the most prestigious competition of the year. The winner would receive a full scholarship to the National Academy of Technology, a future-changing prize. Everyone knew Lucas would win. His father was the head judge. His family had already arranged everything, just like every year. But this time, Ethan had other plans. He began spending nights in the library's basement, surrounded by wires, circuits, and blueprints. He built something revolutionary, a drone powered by an AI system that could detect lies using voice tone, pulse detection, and micro-facial expression tracking. But that wasn't his only creation. Hidden inside the drone was a second function, one only Ethan knew about: a secure data projector capable of revealing recorded evidence. Weeks earlier, Ethan had been asked to fix the school's Wi-Fi router. When he entered Director Grant's office, he'd overheard a conversation. Grant accepting bribes from parents, promising to make sure their kids always win. Ethan recorded it through a microchip installed in his smartwatch, one of his own designs. That recording would be the weapon of his revenge. The day of the Innovation Expo arrived. The auditorium buzzed with excitement. Reporters, teachers, and parents filled the seats. Banners hung from the ceiling, celebrating the future of young minds. Lucas went first. He presented a large, polished robot that could follow voice commands. The crowd applauded, though few knew the truth. Lucas hadn't built it. A private engineer had done the real work. His father's connections made sure no one would question it. Then came Ethan. He stepped on stage wearing a neat white shirt, his hair combed, his expression calm but determined. He placed a small silver drone on the table. "This," he began softly, "is not just a drone. It's a truth machine." The audience chuckled, but his next words silenced them. "It can detect lies through human expressions, voice vibrations, and heart rhythm. I built it because truth deserves to be seen, not hidden." He looked straight at Director Grant, sitting proudly in the front row. "And today," Ethan said, "I'd like to demonstrate it with someone important." The room shifted with tension. The drone lifted off the table and hovered above Director Grant. "Sir," Ethan said with calm precision, "is it true that all students at Ravenshade Academy win their competitions fairly?" Grant laughed. "Of course they do." The drone flashed red. "Lie detected," the audience gasped. Murmurs spread across the hall. Grant stood up, furious. "This is absurd. Turn that off right now." But Ethan pressed another button on his smartwatch. The projector screen behind him lit up. Grant's own voice filled the auditorium. "Yes, I'll make sure your son wins. Just send the payment before Friday. Don't worry, no one will ever know. These competitions are under my control." Chaos erupted. Teachers looked horrified. Parents shouted. Reporters began filming. Lucas's face turned pale as his father's corruption filled the room. The head judge tried to cut the power, but Ethan had already backed up the file on multiple devices. Grant tried to shout over the noise, "This boy is lying!" But the drone flashed red again. Lie detected. By the end of the day, Director Grant was suspended, and within a week he was under investigation. The scandal hit every major news outlet. 12-year-old genius exposes corruption at elite academy. Lucas never returned to Ravenshade. His reputation was ruined, and his father's career was over. Ethan, on the other hand, received multiple scholarship offers from prestigious institutions. But he didn't gloat or celebrate. When a journalist asked him, "How did it feel to destroy the people who tried to break you?" Ethan only smiled slightly and said, "I didn't destroy anyone. I just revealed the truth. Revenge isn't about pain, it's about justice served smart." Later that night, Ethan stood outside the library where his mother worked, staring at the stars. His drone hovered quietly beside him, glowing softly in the dark. His mother came out, tears of pride in her eyes. "You did it," she whispered. Ethan looked up at the sky and replied, "No, Mom, we did it." And from that night on, the name Ethan Cole wasn't just remembered as a genius boy, it became a legend. The boy who proved that even at 12, intelligence can be the sharpest weapon of revenge.